everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jessica, and if you're new here, today I will be talking about going gluten-free and how to do it in a very easy way. I went gluten-free about 2 years ago because I am highly allergic to wheat. I have a severe reaction. I know people go gluten-free for different reasons. I'm not here to talk about that today. Make your own judgments on that. If you have gluten intolerance, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just highly allergic to wheat, so I literally can't eat it at all. I wish I would have watched a video like this whenever I went gluten-free because I did have a lot of trouble at first. Ooh, there's the hair. I wish there would have been a video like this when I first went gluten-free because it was pretty difficult to kind of figure everything out. So I just wanted to start off with a few things that I keep in my house. The first thing is bread. This bread is from Trader Joe's and it's okay. It's pretty good for gluten-free bread. If you don't have a health food store in the city that you live in, you can find frozen gluten-free bread in the frozen section. I highly recommend buying a toaster for gluten-free bread in general because it does tend to be a bit tough. When you toast it, it's the same as regular bread, which I do enjoy because I do enjoy a good peanut butter sandwich or almond butter sandwich pretty frequently. I had one this morning. The Trader Joe's bread is okay. I will say that gluten-free bread is a bit smaller than a normal sized piece of bread. It's not all fluffed up like, you know, the good white bread that's huge. I wish I could eat, but I can no longer eat. Also, you'll find that the gluten-free bread is a bit shorter. It's shorter and it's smaller in general. So, you know, I would rather have some form of bread that I can eat than not have bread at all. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're trying the frozen section bread, some of it is really hit or miss. I find most of it is pretty decent. I would prefer to not get frozen bread, but I know there's two in the frozen section that I just don't like. So if you happen to buy those ones, don't give up after the first try because there's plenty of options out there. The second item I wanted to show y'all are tortillas. These are pretty easy to find. You can usually find them at a regular food store, not as opposed to a health food store. These are brown rice tortillas. I do prefer the chia seed tortillas. I know some people like to do like lettuce wraps and stuff like that, but I eat enough greens and salad. I'm not about to eat a lettuce wrap. I want bread. So this is made of brown rice and it tastes totally normal. Of course, it's not homemade like my grandma's tortillas, but I would rather have an option than no option. I know people also prefer coconut wraps. I find those are a little bit harder to get your hands on. I think maybe Whole Foods has them. I've seen them like one time in my life, so I didn't want to mention them because they're just really hard to find in my opinion. The chia seed one I found at Vons, which is like the California equivalent to sort of Kroger. If you have a Kroger, it's similar to that. Most regular grocery stores will have a section that is gluten-free. Like you'll see the whole bread section, and then at the very end there's usually a small little section for you to pick out from, especially at Trader Joe's. I don't have any bagels or stuff like that with me today because I'm not a huge bagel type of person, but they do have gluten-free bagels pretty easily available to find. Now I wanted to talk about my favorite thing in the world, which is pasta. You think because you're gluten-free it's hard to eat pasta. It's not. My fiance is the total anti-health type of a person. He will eat anything, and I have all these allergies. So if I know that he likes some of this stuff, pretty much anyone will like it because he doesn't like to eat like my vegan and healthy stuff. This is veggie spaghetti. You can find this at a regular grocery store, not as opposed to a health food store. And this stuff is amazing. It's just veggie pasta. It tastes the exact same. It's just not made of wheat. It's easy to cook. It's not all complicated. A lot of the gluten-free noodles are kind of funky to cook. Like if you cook them too long, they kind of fall apart. If you don't cook them enough, they're really tough. It's just a whole charade. But the veggie noodles are so easy to find and they cook like regular pasta. This is super cheap as well. This was like, I think $1.25. I also like to venture out and get different kinds of pastas. This is a chickpea pasta, which is super healthy. I have not yet tried it, but I'm sure it's great because most of the gluten-free pastas are really tasty. The only problem is cooking them is a pain in the butt, so that's why I let my fiance do it because he's a really good cook. This stuff I can handle because anyone can handle making this pasta. It's so easy. But the funkier stuff like the lentil and chickpea pasta, that's where you need to be careful. I don't have them with me today, but I totally realized there's a brand called Annie, and they're really great for macaroni. They have one flavor of macaroni, or one box that is gluten-free, and they also have little gluten-free cups, which I really enjoy. I'm now vegan, so I don't use the powdered cheese it comes with. I put in my own vegan cheese that tastes the exact same. It just has no dairy in it, but it is a great alternative for a small snack. You just, fill the water line in a little cup, put it in the microwave, and it's gluten-free, and it tastes the exact same. And you can find that at most regular stores. I know in my hometown they don't have a lot of options for where to shop for things, but I do get it at Sprouts there. I know I can find it at Vons or Kroger as well. Really quickly, I wanted to add this coconut flour. We always keep some sort of gluten-free flour in our home if we want to make cookies or something fun. It is super easy to make gluten-free cookies or make them out of chickpeas. I'll have to find the chickpea recipe I make. They're not very attractive cookies, but we don't judge a cookie by its outer appearance as long as it's chocolatey gooiness on the inside, in my opinion. But this is just super easy, super convenient if we need flour. It does take a minute to learn the different types of flour and what you prefer to cook with. This is coconut flour, and we usually always have coconut flour or almond flour on hand. I know different things cook differently, so just do your research and be patient at first, because it is a learning process to have to adapt to a no-wheat, gluten-free lifestyle. As far as gluten-free snacks go, they're pretty easy to find. I know I am also allergic to corn, which is unfortunate, but in the chip aisle, I can find so much stuff. If you go to a regular grocery store, you'll be able to find these veggie chips. They taste pretty normal. This is the Great Value brand, and I normally don't buy the Great Value brand, but they were sold out because when you live in Los Angeles, all the good stuff that's healthy is always sold out. But the Great Value I don't find is as good as the normal ones, but you can find these pretty much everywhere. In addition, we have some potato chips. These are also gluten-free. Potatoes are gluten-free, as well as a lot of types of rice. So I eat a lot of rice, vegetables, fruit, potatoes as snacks and a part of meals. These are pretty standard. There's only like 3 ingredients, so I appreciate that. Always double check the ingredient list. Usually wheat will be within the first 3 ingredients if they are made with wheat and not gluten-free. But chips are super easy to find gluten-free. Most of them are gluten-free. And then we have these pop chips. These ones are not my favorite flavor because my favorite flavor is not here because I ate them all. But I really enjoy these. They also have a very small amount of ingredients on the back, which I can really appreciate. And to be honest, whenever I do prefer to eat a lot of fruits and veggies, but whenever I do have a peanut butter sandwich and I'm in a hurry, I will just throw a couple of chips on my plate and a little bit of fruit and call it a day because, I eat fairly healthy, so it's okay if I have some potato chips with a sandwich every once in a while. Also in the snack department, you can find protein bars and all those health bars. Pretty much all of them are gluten-free except Lenny and Larry's. But just read the label, it usually says it on the front. Just find what you like. I personally am not a huge fan of protein bars or those snack bars. It's just not really my thing. But I've tried a bunch of them, so I know that gluten-free ones do exist, and there's quite a few of them. I also like to have nuts on hand as a snack. If you do like the Peanut Man, I get the heart healthy ones. I'm out of them, or I would show you all them. But they just have like pecans and pistachios and peanuts and all the more fun nuts. I just don't like it to be all almonds, if you know what I mean. Now on to restaurants. I think it's so hilarious whenever a restaurant says, we have a gluten-free menu, and they give it to you and it's literally salad. Like, thank you for that. I don't want a salad. I didn't come to a restaurant to eat a salad. If I wanted to eat a salad, I would go to like the Chop Shop, is it the Chop Stop, or like a salad designated restaurant. So those restaurants have a big thumbs down in my opinion, because that is like 0 effort in my opinion. Like, that takes no effort. So let's retell you restaurants that you can find good gluten-free stuff at. I do prefer to eat local. I eat 90% local if I do go out to eat. I think it is so much more healthy. There's less additives as long as you know where to go. Even in my hometown, there's not a ton of healthy options, and I would much rather eat local because you can find something at any restaurant that is local and I highly recommend it, and I support small businesses because, I mean, they're working hard out there, man. But because I know that I cannot tell y'all about local restaurants in Los Angeles because that would make no sense because y'all are all over the world watching this, I did want to tell y'all some franchise restaurants that do have some pretty good options, especially in the pasta section, because I don't really count salad as gluten-free. Sorry. Maggiano's, it is an Italian restaurant. They have it in most bigger cities. They don't have it in my hometown, unfortunately, but it is in Los Angeles and San Antonio, I think Houston. I mean, it's pretty easy to find a Maggiano's, and they have a lot of good options, and they have a lot of good gluten-free options, which I can appreciate. The Cheesecake Factory, they also have gluten-free pastas there. There's one that, before I went vegan, I was obsessed with. I think it has like bacon, mushrooms, chicken, and gluten-free pasta, and oh my god. Guys, it is amazing. You have to try it if you go to the Cheesecake Factory, gluten-free pasta, and I really appreciate that effort from the Cheesecake Factory. I know they have other stuff too, but I appreciate the effort, Cheesecake Factory. BJ's. I know bigger cities have BJ's Brewery or Brew House, whatever it's called. They do have gluten-free options there. I believe gluten-free pasta. And they have gluten-free bread. Yeah, they have gluten-free bread. But they have a gluten-free Pizookie, and it is just amazing because I have the biggest sweet tooth on planet Earth, and I love Pizookies. Pro tip, if you order it to go, just order the kid size. It's a tiny bit smaller, but I think it's $2 versus like $6 of the regular size, so I'm always ordering the kids gluten-free chocolate chip Pizookie when I have a sweet tooth. But I'm vegan now, so I'll probably have to make that at home. I'm newly vegan as of earlier this month, so I'm really bummed I can't have a Pizookie, but y'all can eat one for me, and I'll be there spiritually. Something to note about restaurants with gluten-free bread, like a burger bun or something like that, is it's really hit or miss. Sometimes they crumble and fall apart. That's kind of what gluten-free bread is notorious for. I don't have that problem with the breads I buy at the grocery store, really. It's just certain restaurants have like really tough gluten-free bread, and then as soon as you take a bite, it's like the biggest mess. So that's just something to note on like the hamburger bun section. It is harder to find gluten-free bread at a franchise restaurant. It's a lot easier to find a gluten-free pasta, which I prefer anyway. So if I'm gonna go out to eat, I'm probably gonna eat pasta because I just love it so much. Side note, Starbucks released a gluten-free sandwich a few months ago, and it tastes like cardboard, so yeah, don't waste your time. It's disgusting. It's literally the worst gluten-free thing I've ever had. I appreciate the effort kind of, but like, it's a hard pass. It is a hard pass. One last section of the gluten-free family to point out is pizza is so easy to find. Of course, if you're vegan, that's a bit of a different story. I only eat this one pizza restaurant that is right next to my house, and it is gluten-free and vegan. But if you are in another city, you can definitely find gluten-free pizza anywhere. My personal favorite before I went vegan is CPK, or California Pizza Kitchen. I like to get their barbecue chicken pizza, I think that's what it's called. And Domino's, and pretty much every pizza place has gluten-free pizza now. I'm not a huge fan of Domino's, but you know, to each his own. Everyone has their different opinions on pizza, but it is very easy to find, and it tastes pretty much normal. Occasionally you'll find a place that makes it really thin and crunchy, and I'm not about that life. But if you are about that life, then you're gonna love it. So just keep testing out different pizzas, find which ones you love. The California Pizza Kitchen gluten-free pizzas are super normal. They're not crunchy. For the most part, they're just an average thickness of pizza. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, please drop them down in a comment below, and feel free to follow me on my Instagram at @meetjessicamarie, and I'll answer any questions on there as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.